Hello. After all the interest in my ATC box, I thought I'd make one, and then we can. I can share that with you, and hopefully, hopefully, it will all make sense. So I've been playing about with the measurements because I just kind of made it up as I went along with the one I did. So I've been playing with some measurements, and we'll make this one, and we'll see how it goes. I have just been playing with this one, and I think this one's just a little bit too big, so I'm going to just make it a bit smaller. But I've got my measurements, so it won't be difficult to explain to you what I'm doing as I go along, and we'll see how it goes, won't we? So I'm just using an A4 piece of cardstock. You don't need anything bigger than that. A4 is perfect. So I'm getting my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim a piece of card off my A4 that's 3 inches wide. So there we go, 3 inches wide. Just trimming that off. So I'm hoping I've got this right now. If I haven't, we'll do it again. But I'm pretty confident. So I've got my 3-inch wide strip there, and I'm just looking for where I've put my scoreboard. There it is, hiding behind me. So the next thing I do is I take my scoreboard, and I'm going to make my first score. I'm going to make at 3.5. Then my next score I'm going to make at 7.5. Am I? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Sorry. I was wrong there. I'm going to make, I'm adding 4 to 3.5. That is 7.5, isn't it? That seems awfully big. Right, let me look at my measurements I had before. Oh yes, we need to put a little gusset in here. So we need an inch gusset. So we've got 3.5, then we've got 4.5, and then for the main bulk of the card we wanted to add another 4 inches onto here. So we want 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5 there, and then another inch, so another 9.5 there. So I've got scores at 3.5, at 4.5, at 8.5, and at 9.5. So that's where I've scored my 3-inch wide strip. And we'll just have a look. Oh yes, that's going to work nicely. So that's my basic case, and you can play about with those measurements if you so wish, but this will give us the basis. And then I'm going to use my corner rounder on these corners because that's the finish that I like. There we go, like that. So that's my case ready and waiting. Now I need to do the edges. So I need to cut about 2.5 by definitely 4. So I might actually, let's see how deep that is. Yeah, 2.5 is nice. So 2.5 by 4 is the side piece. So I want 2 of those. Just make sure my paper's in there straight. 2.5. And another 2.5. And then trim them off at 4. And again at 4. So that's my 2 side pieces, and they are 2.5 by 4. I'm sorry if I'm repeating this a lot, but I'm just really aware that I know some people like to have the measurements, and I want to make sure that I'm giving them. Really, that's that's where I'm at. So let me know. I'm going to now score every 1/2 inch along here, and I'm going to do that on both of these pieces. So every 1/2 inch all the way along that 4-inch edge. So again, every 1/2 inch all the way along that 4-inch edge. And then I think I can pop this down out of the way now. Let's move that. So I've got my 2 side strips there, and I'm just going to concertina them along those score lines like that. And like that. So I've got my 2 sides now. So I'm going to get some red liner tape to pop these in place, because that's going to give me a nice quick and strong stick. Now, if you're a little bit nervous of using red liner tape, because it is quite ferocious sometimes for sticking, when you take the release tape off, pop some wet glue on top of the sticky bit, and that will give you a little bit of wiggle room, because that is one frustration of using a really strong sort of dry adhesive, is that once it's in place, it's in place. So here we go. I am just popping these 2 pieces of red liner tape on here. That's it. There. And then I'm going to take my case and I'm going to open it out, and I can see my bottom edge there, and I'm going to just line up my edges with the bottom. Just get this tape backing off. And again, if you have trouble with getting your tape backing off, the best thing you can do with that is to burnish the tape. And the more you burnish it, the easier, she says. There we go. Get that backing off. And now I can line this up. So that line there, that score line there, is in line with the side edge, and the bottom is in line with that bottom score line. So I've got it nicely sat there, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, because we've got these lines here for us to use. There's no point in making life hard. There we go. There. So I've got those 2 in place, and now it's time to pop up that bottom edge. You could of course put your fastening on now if you want an easier life, but I've never been one to have an easier life. Now I'm just watching the bottom here because I want it to line up. I want it to line up on the bottom there. There we go. So I've lined that up and now I know it's in the right place. I can remove the rest of that tape and know that that's all good. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this one. There we go. And I've taken all the tape, the release tape off there. That was very, very brave of me. And again, I'm lining it up with the bottom and the side edge. Don't worry about this coming out because we can pop it all back in. There we go. So we've got faces there. So we're going to pop some little panels inside and we'll do the fastening and we'll do the handle. But that's the very basic bit of it. Is that the right? Am I using the right words? I don't know. Sometimes words just elude me. So I need 2 little panels that are, I think I want to go 2.5 high. If I go this way, I might get 2 out of it actually. 2.5 high. By just, I want to come a fraction under the 3 inches wide, just a real fraction, because I just need that little bit of extra room when I'm sticking these in. So I'm just a tiny little bit in. So I've got 2 panels now that I can use in here. Now I could use red liner tape again, but I'll use some wet glue. So I'm just popping some little lines of glue on there, and then I'm going to pop this in there and give it a little squeeze. And I've got 1 pocket, and then I'll do exactly the same with this one. There we go, just a line of glue on either side. That's all it needs. It doesn't need any more than that. And then that one will slide in there, and I can squidge that together. And there you go. I've now got my pockets in there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a handle for here. So I'm going to take a piece of card, get the red liner tape off me. Now this needs to be 3/4 of an inch wide. And we know that because the gussets are 1 inch wide. So we want it to be narrower than that. So 3/4 of an inch wide, and let's see, I think about, possibly, no, 4 inches long. So I've gone 3/4 of an inch wide and 4 inches long for my handle. Now, if you want it to have, I'm just rounding the corners on this. If you, and always when you're using your corner rounder, if you didn't know, which I'm sure most of you do, but if you didn't know, use your corner rounder in how you would think maybe is upside down, because you can see the positioning of your card then. and you know that it's in the right place. So I'm just rounding those corners. I probably should have scored it first, but never mind. If you want to do the brads like I did on mine, the brads don't actually hold it in place. I glued it, but I put the brads on for decoration. So, and I'm just going to score this at 1/2 inch on each side, like so. And if I was using brads, I'd be putting putting the brads on either side. I'm going to do those little bends, and then what you want to do is you could use a pen, you can use anything you want, just run it along that cardboard just to create a nice curve. That's all you want. You just want it to sit nicely in a nice curve. So like I said, if I put brads on here, it would, it would look like the one that I had on the page, but I'm not going to put brads on this one because I'm just showing you the very basics of it. So I'm going to pop a little bit of red liner tape on here because it'll be nice and quick. A little bit of red liner tape on here. There we go. So very super quick. So, and then I'm going to pop this in place, and then I'll just show you how I made the fastening. And then I think that's probably about it, isn't it, really? So, taking the back off red liner tape is hellish sometimes, but it's such a good product. There we go. So I've done that, and I'm just going to make sure that I put that where I want it. There you go. So I've got my little handle now as well. That's sitting nicely. And again, you could add charms or anything you wanted to this handle. It's a handy little handle. Right, now for the fastening, I can't remember the name of this type of fastening because it's Saturday afternoon and I've got no brain access at the moment. So I'm just trying to grab my circle punches without having a massive after lunch. Here we go. Now, where are you? Because I know you're in here somewhere. Oh, that's right. I put it out ready because I knew I was going to need it for this. What a donut. Honestly. So you want a couple of different sizes of circle punch. I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to go with. Let's have a look. That's quite a nice differential. I mean, you can do it with one circle. You can absolutely do it with one circle. That will work, but I kind of like doing it with I like doing it with two. I think it's a nice finish. So I'm going to do my bigger one. See all my measurements written down on here. I've been trying to work this out. It's a problem when you do things just kind of off the cuff and you don't take notes. I really should take notes. Right, so I've got two of the bigger one. I should have checked. Yes, that will fit on there. That's lucky. And then I'm going to do 2 smaller ones. Oop. There we go. 2 smaller ones. And I need a couple of brads. So I'm just going to get them out of my little box of... This is my box of metal things, because I don't like to tax my brain too much. So this is my box of things that are made of metal, and I have a box of things that are made of wood and one of resin, and that's how I can find the things I want to use. So I've done that and I've done that, and I need a little foam, bit of foam. Let me get that. Oh, craft a lunch. So I'm going to take that bit of plastic off there, and I'm going to make holes now. So where's my... Let's have a pokey. So I need to make a hole for this. Let's put it so it looks like it's in the middle, like that. There, and I want the little one as well. I can do the hole for that here. So then we just take a brad and we go through that little circle and the big circle. There we go. So that sits like that, and we can open the brad up. Now, if you don't like seeing your workings on things, I would suggest not to cover the inside of your box until after you've put your brad in, and then you can easily cover it up. So I just need to see where that sits, and then I can work out where to pop this one. So about there, I think will be nice. Yeah, that looks about right. And so I'm just being very mindful not to stab myself with my pokey tool, because that would be incredibly painful and really not very nice. Let's have that one. And I'm doing exactly the same thing. I've got my brad and pop it in there. So you're not gluing any of these circles. They don't get glued. They just stay where they are. So I'm just trying to open up that brad in there. It's not too faffy, actually. I mean, I've got white sausage fingers and I'm very clumsy and I can do it. So there we go. So we've got those 2 circles like that, and then we can just take, let's get some thread. This looks like quite nice thread to use, actually. I'm not sure where this one came from. Oh yes, I know where that came from. Right, that was from a knitting pumpkin kit, because, you know, why wouldn't you? And so now I'm just gonna slide this string under that first circle there. Now you can choose whether you want to have, you can have equal lengths that wrap and tie, but actually you only need one. So let me just get that to slide under there. Don't be cheeky. I don't know why my string is misbehaving, but I wish it wasn't. There we go. That's in place now. There we go. We like that. So I'm going to double knot that. give that a double knot, and then I can cut this one off, and if I wanted to I could tuck that under and glue it so I didn't see it if I want to, but it's not going to go anywhere. And now I can use this one then, just the one string, and it will, once it's been used a couple of times, it'll be quite easy to make it do what you want it to do. It's just because it's all been made that it just takes a little while to settle into its placement. But there we go. So, and you could go around there a couple of times if you want. But that is your ATC holder, and these are cut to ATC size, so I can pop these. I mean, I think you'd get a good couple in each pocket. I only got 3 in the one I originally made because mine had 3D work on them. But if you're just doing a standard ATC, you'd easily get probably 6 in there if you wanted to. So I'm just gonna get that string again. Maybe this string is a little thick actually, maybe. I don't know. But there we go. So that is my little ATC holder. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. And of course you can decorate it in a squillion zillion different ways. But hopefully I'm just giving you the basics of it. So there we go. Oh, is there somebody watching? I can't see comments. Hang on. Oh, Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Nice to see you too. Right. Well, I'm going to leave you with that now. And I hope it was useful. I hope it made sense. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I wasn't actually expecting anybody to be here, so it was really nice to see you. Oh, it's my pleasure, Peggy. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.